So we're currently in the part 4 of this section, and in the part 3 I showed you guys how to install this Forex robot. But something I didn't show you guys how to do was actually load the set file. So basically here, let me just double tap on the moving average trader once again. It says, do I want to stop? I'm going to click on yes, and then we have the same inputs that we have here. So if you want to load the set file, so you just click on load here. All right, and then it's going to take you over to your presets. But we have the set file saved in the tester. Okay, so I'm going to click on here to go over to the previous directory. I'm going to head over to tester. And then I'm going to open up the MA trader here. Okay. So I'm going to click on Euro USD because that's what we have here. I'm going to click on open. Then you currently have all of the settings changed. So basically we are loading the settings that comes with the set file. All right. But whenever you're installing a Forex robot, make sure to actually backtest the set files provided and maybe even optimize the set files provided before proceeding to load the set file and use the live account. All right, so I'm going to click on OK, and that's how to actually load the set file. Now let's look at how to actually backtest the Forex robot here. So I'm just going to cancel out of this chat because we don't need that anymore. I'm going to cancel out of here as well. I'm going to also cancel out of here. So I'm going to open up my strategy tester. You can see this is how you can open up your strategy tester here. So just click on this. Yeah, close, open, close, open. All right, so our strategy tester is currently up, and we have people that system here. So I'm just going to cancel this and open up our moving average trader here. All right, so currently have the moving average trader opened. This is for Euro USD, and we're going to call it backtest this for the 1st of 2022. Let's just see if we can load this from 2021 down to today. Right, so for the strategy tester here, we currently have the symbol Euro USD, we have the model, everything, we have the period, we have the currents, which we are using the spread for the current here. Okay, so for the spread, when the market is currently open, so from Monday to Friday, you can actually use currents. That will help you, get your current spread here, which is set to 2. Right, sometimes the spread is 0, sometimes it's 2. Right, but if you're on the weekends, the spread could actually be enlarged. So before you actually perform your backtest, make sure you have a note of the average spread here. So you can see mine says 2 for Euro USD. Okay, so if we're on the weekend, I wouldn't set this to current because the markets will be closed and this could be about 40 or 50, which isn't realistic in the live market. So I set this here to 2, okay, or 5 or 10, depending on what spread your current broker has. Okay. So for the visual mode, we're going to enable visual mode so we can just, have a review of how this system works. Okay. And for the expert properties here, I'm just going to load the set file we previously provided here. For the set file, just going to open up the MA trader and load up the set file for Euro USD. Click on OK. And the period says M15. So let's look at the testing here. So we're currently testing on 10,000 USD. I'm going to increase this to 10,000. Okay, so it's 10,000 USD. So long and short, we optimize it for the balance. I'm going to click on OK. Okay, so that's a piece of advice for the spread. We can now click on stats to see how the strategy works in real life. Okay, or in real time rather. So currently running, I post it here. So the one more thing I can do here is to load up the template. So I'm just going to load up the template here, and we can click on play. Right, so you see the strategy work in real time here with the previous backtest data. Right, so you can see this playing out here. You can see it's beginning to open trade here. So you can see what's currently happening here is that we had a buy trade here. The price went up. We had our break-even function triggered, the SL modified, and we closed here. All right, so you can see buy, 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 buy. So basically, the market is now detecting a bullish bias, right? So right now, it's still detecting a bullish bias, right? So buy, and now it's detecting a bearish bias. Okay, so sell. So buy. So you can see how the trading strategy works, guys. All right. So I'm just going to pause this out. I'm going to click on stop here so we can stop this here. You can look at the graph here to see how much we made. Okay. All right. So basically in real time, this strategy is actually, very slow. I'm just going to run this here on strategy test without using the visual mode. Okay. So one more thing here is that we're actually running the strategy at the open of every candle. Okay, so we're not basically running it on every tick. So at the open of every candle or at the close of the previous candle, that's the only time the strategy tends to run. Obviously, we have a stop loss and a take profit that could actually trigger during the, when the market or when a candle is actually at the middle or at any point of the candle. But we can actually optimize with the open price. So here, open prices is actually the faster way to optimize. And guys, I actually recommend you do this if you're building a trading strategy. All right, you can actually optimize with open prices if you know that your strategy runs on the open of every candle. Okay, and when you're coding your strategy, you can actually make sure it runs at the open of candle, so you can optimize at a quicker pace than you should do using every tick. Okay, so I'm just going to use this here, and I'm going to click on start here. You can see that's currently back tested in just about a second, right? So you can look at the graph here, and then you can look at how this trading strategy works here in real time. Right, so basically, if you look at the reports, we had 10,000 initial deposits, and we had 15,000 in profits. We had a drawdown of 14.81%. We had long positions 158.07. And short positions won about 67.73. All right, this is to tell you that when you look at this expert properties here, you look at the input section here, and then you have a look at the fast MA here. So the fast MA here says 75, the slow MA says 500, the upper retracement says 400, and the lower retracement here says 150. All right, so basically the fast MA here, which is 75, is actually greater than the slow MA, which is actually 500. It tells you that more than 50% of the time it indicates a bullish bias. All right, but if the fast MA is actually lower than the 500 moving average, it actually indicates more than 50% of the time a bearish bias. Right, and if the fast moving average is greater than the slow moving average, and the price is actually, let's head over to our trading conditions here. All right. Well, let's head over to the code directly so we can look at the code here. Just going to open up here, and I'm going to close this here, file, close. Okay, the MO condition is here. I think this is MO conditions, yes. So whenever the fast moving average is greater than the slow moving average, right, and then the close is actually lower than the upper retracement. Okay, so if you head over back here, so whenever the fast moving average of 75 is actually lower than the slow moving average of 500, and the price is lower than the 400 moving average, all right, this indicates what? More than 50% of the time, or what, the position to buy. Indicates a very good position to buy, which means the price is likely to retrace from the 400 moving average, right? As long as the 75 moving average is greater than the slow moving average. So basically, if you're trading with any strategy, right, you can actually use this as, as a point to know if your strategy actually works or not. If it coincides with your strategy, it means that more than 50% of the time, your strategy could actually work, right? So let's look at the sell condition here. The fast moving average is actually lower than the slow moving average. It indicates more than 50% of the time they are currently in a bearish bias, right? And the price actually is higher than the 150 moving average, right? It tells you what? That the price is more than likely 50% of the time to retrace or to move away from the lower moving average. And this actually makes sense, right? Because if you look at the chart of EURUSD, let's just see if we can plot that out. Bring out the chart of EURUSD here. And if you look at this on the, let's look at this on the daily time frame. Okay, you can see this on the daily time frame here. So from 2021 here up to 2023 here, you can see that more than 50% of the time actually being in a bullish, bearish bias here. So you can see here from 2021 to up to 2023, this was kind of like a bear market here, right? And then you can see from July up to the current date here, we're currently in a bearish bias here as well. So when you look at the strategy here, you can now see that we currently have a lower value for the lower retracements than the upper retracement, which means that we are going to actually have more sell conditions than buy conditions. I hope that makes sense to you guys. If you look at the report here, we had short positions 784, right, and then long positions 415, which means we almost had twice as sell positions than buy positions. All right, I hope that makes sense to you guys. So in the next video, we're going to be actually performing a strategy test to see how we can optimize the strategy from scratch, right? So see which conditions, are better off. Just going to optimize and show you guys how to basically optimize this strategy. And there's a reason why I'm doing this, guys, because most of you, when you just download the Forex report, you're more than likely to just install it and expect it to work for you. But basically, what you have to do is to backtest the strategy and optimize it, because your broker is different. We're using different time zones. So the strategy test performed on another broker may not coincide with that of your broker. And maybe you don't know this, but the data is also very different. So what you can see here as a 75 moving average might also be a 80 or the 90 moving average for you. So you have to optimize and find the perfect strategy that's actually going to work on your broker. And we're going to be doing this in the next video. So I'm going to see you guys there. Bye for now.